What is up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Franca and I'm glad you're here. Today I scoured the internet for every possible 5-star book people have rated and I'm gonna give you all of them. Before we start, I've only read one of these books / series, so I literally have no idea what these books are about, but let's get into it. These are all 5-star books. I grouped them in like how many times they were mentioned. So the lower end, it was mentioned like once or twice, and the higher end was mentioned upwards of 7 to 8 times. I watched countless YouTube videos, countless TikToks to try and come up with this list. So let's get into it. Book number 1 is Act Your Age. Book number 2 is By a Thread. Book number 3 is Before We Were Strangers. Book number 4 is Alone with You. Book number 5 is Lock Every Door. Book number 6 is One True Loves.
We have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This author writes a lot of literary fiction books, and in this one, we have a girl whose husband died. She gets engaged to a new man. She's moved on with her life, and then all of a sudden she gets a call that her first husband actually didn't die, and he survived this helicopter wreck. And so she has to go see this first husband, and you follow her as she tries to make the decision of, do I go back to my first true love, or do I stick it out with this new person who I've fallen in love with and created a new life with? And it's such a wild book. Like, I was genuinely torn the entire time up until the end, but I was very torn throughout the entire thing, and I had no idea what she was going to choose the entire time. Like, most books like this I feel like would be predictable and someone you would just really root for way more than the other, but the way that she wrote this had you feeling exactly like the main character was feeling.
Book number 7 is Kiss the Sky. Book number 8 is The House Across the Lake. Number 9 is Divine Rivals. Number 10 is The Housemaid. Number 11 is The Housemaid's Secret. Number 12 is The Queen of Nothing.
Probably my top 2 books of the year, and it is the way that The Wicked King by Holly Black and The Queen of Nothing made me feel. These are the second and third books in the Folk of the Air trilogy, aka The Cruel Prince is the first book. This is a series that went viral on Book Talk a while ago, and a lot of people hyped it up for the enemies to lovers romance in this book, but it is way more just about the actual fantasy. They live in a world with fairies and humans, and it's just a lot of like political drama that happens in it, which is not something that if you describe to me I would be interested in at all. So I picked up The Cruel Prince just thinking, you know, what the heck, I've seen so many crazy TikToks about these books making people cry and just saying it's like a feeling that they haven't gotten from any other book. Read The Cruel Prince, was so upset. I was like, what is this book? I don't understand why any of the TikToks were made about it like that. Pretty average. I was kind of bored. 3 stars. And then I read the second one, and I have never felt the way that the romance, the small romance subplot in this series, I've never felt that way about romance in any other books ever, because they're enemies to lovers, but they actually stay enemies when they become lovers, and the quotes in here are just unmatched. I need to reread it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then even for someone who does not expect to like fantasy and fake politics in this made-up world, I actually loved it, and everything kept me on the edge of my seat. And then when I read the last book, this is probably the only book this year that had me actually sobbing, like embarrassing, loud crying about this book. So these are just top of the year. It is rare for books to make me feel this way, and The Cruel Prince trilogy accomplished that. So just read the first book and don't judge it, and then read the second one.
13 is the Mindfuck series. Number 14 is The Things We Hide from the Light.
Then we have the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. When I read this last year or 2 years ago, 2021, oh, it's been a couple of years now. But when I read this, it introduced me to Lucy Score. Absolutely obsessed with her writing. I just think it was so fast-paced. It's a thicker romance book, but it went so quick because her writing is just so fun and entertaining, and the banter and the dialogue, like everything just flows so well. And I didn't want to stop reading this. I loved this book. This was my introduction to Small Town and Grumpy Sunshine. And then this is the most recent one that just came out. Things We Have from the Light, and then the third one's coming out soon. So I'm so excited to get the third one. That's gonna be, I think, my favorite of the series. It's basically about 2 characters from this series. They're all just like interconnected series about different characters within it. So this is about Knox and Naomi, and then you have his brother Nash, and then you have the third one that's coming out, Sloane and Lucian, which I think is gonna be another 5 stars. So it's just overall 5-star series for me. Thought it was entertaining. I just think the banter is so fun with all of her books that I've read so far, and she does just such an amazing job writing a book that I just want to sit down and binge. It's like rom-com-y, but then you also get little deeper parts, and the story's always entertaining, and the side characters are always so much fun, and I just am obsessed with Lucy Score's writing. But this was my first by her that I gave 5 stars, and I also gave the second one 5 stars.
Number Number 15 is The Things We Never Got Over. 16 is Six of Crows. 17 is Crooked Kingdom. 18 is Better Than the Movies.
Better Than the Movies is my favorite young adult romance ever. I'm a sucker for a rom-com. I love rom-coms so much. This book literally feels like reading a rom-com. It gives you all of those swoon-worthy feelings that watching a rom-com in the comfort of your own home with your favorite snacks gives you. It's teenage love at its finest. It's just like your little heart squeeze. And I really love it. I feel like it encapsulates being in love in high school.
19 is Educated. 20 is True Love. 21 is A Little Life. 22 is Yours Truly.
Any Abby Jimenez book I'm going to recommend to you. I love Abby Jimenez, has quickly become one of my go-to absolutely love authors. My favorite is Yours Truly, because of the guy in this book. I relate so heavily to him and I love him so much. I love a depiction of this type of relationship, of somebody who understands you when struggling with the things that the main character struggles with. I love it so much. Abby Jimenez, look no further. She always had, not to use the term emotional depth, but I am going to use it, so I apologize. She always has emotional depth in her stories, but it kind of, she cycles that in with, she always ties it in with the heart-squeezing romance and like the banter and the rom-comminess, the wittiness. Her writing is just like sunshine. It's sweet. I love it so much.
23 is The Things We Leave Unfinished. 24 is November 9. 25 is Verity. 26 is Heartstopper. 27 is Know My Name. 28 is The Song of Achilles. 29 is The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. 30 is Icebreaker.
Read, but definitely one of my favorites that I'm still so in love with, Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Oh my gosh, you guys. I know this book blew up on TikTok a while ago and I'm late to reading it, but the hype was there. It met the hype is what I'm trying to say. And obviously I can see why people are saying that it's overhyped and the things that they're not really liking about it. But then again, I just enjoyed every single second of it. It is a hockey boy romance, obviously dealing with a hockey player and a figure skater, and ooh, but it is extremely spicy, so yeah. The spice was good though. It wasn't super overwhelming to the point where you felt like there was no connection between the characters. There definitely was a lot of tension and there was definitely a lot of cute moments. There was definitely a lot of acts of service in this. So I can't wait to pick up the next one in this series. This is definitely staying a 5 stars.
31 is The Spanish Love Deception.
The Spanish Love Deception? Yo, it has to. Oh, I just moved something. What did I move? I moved the Bright Test. Okay. I said what I said on The Spanish Love Deception. I know that it's not a lot of people's favorites, and I know that like a lot of people hate it. But Aaron Blackford. That's it. I'll leave you with that. It was also my first, like one of my first slow burns, like Mariana Zapata and The Spanish Love Deception. So I'll just always remember it.
32 is Mary Jane. 33 is Cemetery Boys. And 34 is The Love Wager. 35 is Ugly Love. 36 is You Deserve Each Other.
You Deserve Each Other. Oh, 5 star. Oh my god, my 5%. My iPad's dying. Here we go. You Deserve Each Other deserves a 5 star. Yeah. And you know what? On Goodreads, You Deserve Each Other has such a low percentage. Like it's like a 3 star on Goodreads. Who's rating it less than 5? It is such a good book. It has an unreliable narrator. It's so funny. It's like a marriage in trouble, but also they like fix themselves and each other and together. Like, oh, it has everything. It has everything. No, it is a 5 star and I will take no further discussions.
37 is Love Theoretically. 38 is The Midnight Library. 39 is Night Circus. 40 is If We Were Villains. 41 is Carrie Soto is Back. 42 is Rock, Paper, Scissors. 43 is Project Hail Mary. 44 is Love and Other Words.
My favorite book of all time. Like, if you take any 5-star read from this video, honestly, I would recommend any of these books, but like, just know that this book holds a special place in my heart. I have these 3 covers of them. I have the original. I've read this twice now. It's very worn in, annotated. I'm obsessed with the feel of this book. And then I have the new cover that came out, and then I have the one that also just came out. This one I found on Christina Lauren's bio on Instagram. I think it was like linked in there or something, but it's like hardcover. It has their pictures on it. Like, I'm just obsessed. If I haven't said the title of it yet, is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. And this introduced me to childhood friends to lovers, second chance romance, and obsessed. Childhood friends to lovers is one of my favorite tropes of all time, and this is like the blueprint for it. The way that these two met and connected when they were younger was so wholesome, was so sweet, and just seeing that just felt so just like comforting, because they just read together and they enjoy their time together and they just have this connection with each other that they don't even realize that they have. I'm obsessed with this book, like in every way, shape, and form. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Like, I recommend this to everyone too. Like, if you have watched my 5-star reads up until this point or watched any of my videos, I feel like you have probably read this book, and I hope you have. And if you haven't, here's your chance to. Here's your sign to.
45 is Babel. 46 is Malibu Rising. 47 is Red, White, and Royal Blue. 48 is The Deal. 49 is The American Roommate Exchange. 50 is If He Had Been With Me. 51 is Throne of Glass.
The first series I'm going to start off with is the Throne of Glass series by Miss Sarah J Maas. I adore this series, if you couldn't tell. They are all 5 stars, although I will admit that they get better as you get through the series. I think the first 2 books are still great, but it gets so much better from the 3rd book onwards. So, the 3rd book is Heir of Fire, and I believe, for me, that's where it just turned into 6 star. If I could give 6 stars, it would get 6 stars. I adore this series with all of my being.
52 is Powerless.
Let's also talk about Powerless by Lauren Roberts for a sec. She's getting her moment, as she deserves. If you like Peeta Mellark, but he's a little bit more dangerous, read this.
53 is The Silent Patient. 54 is The Love Hypothesis. 55 is Beach Read.
Beach Read deserves a 5-star every damn time. I've reread that book so many times. I said what I said. Don't you dare give January and Gus anything less. Because when I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist.
56 is The Wicked King. 57 is The Inheritance Games. 58 is Happy Place. 59 is Addicted to You.
This is the first book in the series, and it's Lillian Lowe's book. I cannot tell you guys how much this book specifically means to me. This started the obsession for me. Lily and Lowe are definitely the characters that I feel like you're gonna see the most growth from out of all the characters in this series. They definitely are the ones that are struggling the most, so I am so connected to them. But this one was obviously 5 stars. I would sell my soul to read this. I would do anything to read this for the first time again.
60 is Magnolia Parks.
And also all of Magnolia Parks. Where's Magnolia Parks? Magnolia! Oh, there you are. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, my top 3 series. Of course, they're all 5 stars. You argue with a wall. Like, you see that wall over there? You go argue with that. Because you ain't gonna argue with me. Because I simply am not listening.
61 is The Ballad of Never After. 62 is Fourth Wing. 63 is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
First book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, which shout out this book because they just showed the casting for, I don't know if it's a show or movie coming out, I think it's a show, but the casting is so amazing. It's exactly how I pictured Pip and Ravi. I am so excited. This is basically a YA mystery trilogy. You could read the first one and just stop there, but you can also continue the story, but the end of this kind of gets wrapped up, but you could continue. Anyway, I did read all 3, but the first one is the only one that I gave 5 stars, and I think this still holds up to this day. It was just so fast-paced, kept me on my toes. I felt like a detective when I was reading this because Pip, as the main character, is trying to figure out a murder that went on in her hometown. And it was so interesting being her point of view, going back through all of these little details and things that went on throughout her town and the people in it, and like trying to figure out what really happened. So it was interesting going through her point of view and like going along with her. And then the ending, I didn't guess. I think I have a reading vlog from so long ago of me reading this. I think it has spoilers in it. I'm really not sure, but it was fast-paced, it was fun, it was everything you want in a YA little murder mystery. And it's becoming a show, so I am so excited to see this come to the screen.
64 is Shatter Me. 65 is A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the only books I've read off of this entire list.
The next series I have here is another one by Miss Sarah J Maas. There's going to be a bit of a theme here for the first few books that I talk about, and that is the ACOTAR series, again by Miss Sarah J Maas. I adore this series with all of my being. This is my favourite series to ever exist, and the second book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury, is my favourite book to ever exist. I have such a connection to this series. I love it with every fibre of my being.
And the most recommended book out of this entire video is one that I plan on buying and reading eventually, but it is, drumroll please, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
That is Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Carrie Soto is Back, and Daisy Jones and the Six, all by Taylor Jenkins Reid. These are all 5 stars, obviously, as is the point of this video, but I adored all of these. I think that Taylor Jenkins Reid just has such a skill with writing famous people in her books. I didn't think that was my thing until I've read all of these books and I've loved them. I can safely say that at some point in each of these books I had to Google to check whether these people were real, because in my head I was like, surely these people must. They must really exist because these are so phenomenal.
I hope this video was helpful for you guys and you can find some 5-star books that you really enjoy. If you do, let me know in the comments. If you've read any of these books before, please let me know if you like them or not, because I'd love to know your opinion. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and comment down below. And if you didn't, feel free to leave a hate comment. I'd love to hear your opinion. And I'll see you guys next week.